Hi everyone, welcome to White Noise. My name's Robyn and I'm your host today. And it's election day here in the world, I guess in the country. I don't really know how I feel about it. I mean, I have so many feelings, which is why I'm here to talk about those feelings, I guess. I guess I wanted to just start with a question to the audience. Should I talk about politics or not? Like, do we want this space to be about that, or do we want it not to be? Yeah.
I think we should talk about the feelings around it, but not the issues or the.
Well, I just asked because I have one reading that's political, kind of, and one that's not.
Maybe we can just carry that question throughout and see if someone wants to talk about it or not.
Okay. Well,
I would prefer not to have those personalities or issues in this space if possible, just to keep it creative, because I consider it low vibe.
I totally get that. I'm not trying to bring any vibes down.
But what do other people think?
Well, I feel like it becomes a censorship issue then, right? Doesn't that provoke someone to even want to talk about it, right?
Well, theoretically, anything goes. It's white noise.
Yeah, I think
It's
if
white
it's part of
noise.
your act,
Part of the art.
part of the art, part of what the vibe is right now. But I think we're not going to do any debating here.
No, it's just
Yeah.
I ask because I don't usually ever read nor really write until recently anything that's even slightly political, because I try to just keep my stuff fairly neutral, and I am a fairly neutral person, and I think that's great and all, about certain things, of course, not about everything, because that'd be kind of crazy. But I guess I've been inspired by the world and by not as much like our politics, but by the world and worldly politics and happenings and stuff. I guess I just usually try to keep my stuff pretty hyper local to myself. And I'm trying to widen my view, I guess, which is great, and I'm glad that that's happening, because it's easy to just get stuck writing about yourself for years, and I'm trying to write about myself in the context of the world a little bit. So I guess I'll just feel it out and, go from there. I have some stuff I've been writing, and I like it. I'm going to just say it. I like it. And we'll see how I feel about that by the end of this reading. But for now, I like it. And I've been just having a lot of difficulty with just like writing recently. And I think it's just because there's so much going on that I'm a little uncomfortable about with the world. And it's hard for me to really focus on just like little minutia of life as I used to in my writing. I feel like it's improper in a way, just right now. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. I hope you all got out and voted today, or another day before today. I think although our democracy is crumbling, it's still important to be a part of it. Yeah, and I wasn't always like that. I just wanted to say that because I felt really uncomfortable about politics for most of my life because I wasn't educated enough, and I'm still not. But I feel like I'm a little more educated now, and I feel like I didn't feel comfortable having an opinion because I didn't have any base for that opinion. So I'm trying to form opinions based on facts. Is that crazy? No, I'm kidding. Thanks for that. Yeah, so I'm just going to read a few things I've been writing. Okay. This first one is called Cold. The wind cries through shut windows, enough that I feel the chill from all the way over here. My cold toes and stuffy nose dream of ski trips up north with you, and we do blow before we submerge in bubbling hot tub with Polish women, sipping 8% beer from to-go cups and ask old men to take pictures of us embracing. It's been a while, but the world is still cold. Even with aurora borealis and early October hurricanes ravishing the south, even with war abroad and housing prices exponentially skyrocketing. As I plan my trip abroad to a neutral European country with land vast and uninhabited. In the wake of my performance, which I followed by a glass of red and a hojicha tea, I don't think I said that right, chocolate and a butterscotch cookie, in the wake of you screaming at me because we were rushing when we had so much time to spare. But it's getting cold. I ask the world why and receive no reply. Only the muffled screams of victims of war, of thoughtless murder, as I relish in warm apartment with cold feet, wishing I spoke clearly, stated my case with the passion I feel within me, not fearful of reaction because silence is both ignorant and a form of complacence, and I abhor these murders and I pray that these wars end. My heart yearns for a world where peace can line our streets like weeds, even if it is unwanted, even if it is foreign. Can't we just give peace a chance? Provided the sunlight it needs to flourish, I would nurse any weed that brought me peace. Mugwort, wild rose or barberry, thistle, dandelion, or clover. What if we nourished these weeds? Could we relinquish our stigmas if it meant peace, if it meant harmony? The tattered cloth of myth still being woven, which binds us all together in intrinsic ties, striking empathy, though these words feel miles away. Empathy, understanding, peace, harmony. Are these the words the wind cries, or are they lies, woven from the threads of capital crimes? Thank you. This next one is called Fire, and I wrote it after the death of a 19-year-old Palestinian that I saw online, and it really hit me. And this is called Fire again. There's a fire in my brain, a fire, there's a fire in my brain. I'm on fire in my brain, the world is on fire in my brain. I am seeing slaughter in my brain, fire in my brain. I am watching the fire in my brain, them burn in the fire in my brain, watching his hand reach towards the fire in my brain. War, fire, tired, kill Tony, fucking kill him. Kill the authority with fire in my brain. But will it bring them back, those stuck in the fire in my brain? Will it bring them back if we slaughter more in the fire? How do we pay them back? How do we go back to a time when we didn't watch fire in our brain, when his hand didn't reach out to fire in my brain? How do we save him? But what about the children? How do we save them? But what about the mothers? How do we quell the fire? How do we reach out and grab them in my brain? How can we stand by and watch the fire? The fire. How do we save them from the fire? The children, the mothers, the families, the nations succumbing to fire in my brain. In my brain, but it's there, if only I could reach them. How do we save them? In my fire, in my brain, how do we save them? In the brain, in my fire, how fire, brain save, child reaching, child save, mother, mother, how child, how mother reach, brain, mother, child, fire, fire, fire. Thank you. This one I wrote today, I don't think I'm gonna read it though, because it's just like, maybe I'll read it at the end, but it's just a lot of thoughts I've been having today, of all days, because I think like as a poet, I have to write like an election poem. So I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? And they ended up just like doing a voice memo and like doing the speech to text thing. And I just like spoke it on my car ride to work this morning. But I'm going to just shift gears a little bit right now. And I'm going to go to this one. It's called Otherworldly. He took bad drugs and the calm down lasted days. We never mean to, not technically speaking, unless we do. Unless we crave the abyss, its soft embrace, its enshrouding allure. There's something to it, something cosmic, otherworldly, extraterrestrial. How many times can we say we've craved it? Oh, sweet, sweet abyss, sweet like the first burst of sugar in your mouth as you pop a candy. We cannot deny it. Depravity is all that is left. Hours stuck shitting on the toilet, or just your gaze transfixed on nothing. But who am I to say that the voided space you stare into is nothing? How could I ever know? I am tired. It's 7 p.m. and I am tired. Ready to rest and wake up at 4 a.m. to board a flight to the stars. I told you I was otherworldly. I never expected you to believe me. Thank you. And I'm going to read one more for now. It's in my little journal. Okay. There's no title. I don't like title my journal entries. This one's a lot more sweet. Sorry for all the like really sad stuff. But love me with my short curly hair pulled back into small braids. Would my indigestion go away? Would he stay with me or find a city girl who loves to give blowjobs and has a well-paying corporate job? Who bathes every day and eats chicken and steak? I know you're not that picky. I'm just so afraid of what I'm not doing. This is only a partial truth, of course, as I am more concerned with convincing you to stay with me. It wouldn't be hard. It would just take a bit of mouth work. I don't think I will eat chicken again, though, but I think you'll be able to understand. But would you still love me if I was a rural shepherd off the coast of a Scottish island, who wore braids only for utilitarian reasons, who woke up early and wrote poems like Keats or, Burns, but no, not for the people, just for the farmer in us all, who loves it when it rains but also fears it, who goes to sleep early and isn't concerned with her appearance, who cannot complain because life is not about how much money you make or what kind of clothes you wear. It's just about doing your task each day to keep your livestock alive. I guess what I'm really trying to say is, would you love me no matter what? Or would you follow me to the ends of the earth and cuddle in a hut hardly unexposed to the elements? And would you let me fall asleep in your arms to the sound of the rain above us? Thanks. That was a silly little poem. I guess that was a poem. Yeah, that's all I have today.
What about the election poem?
I don't know. Should I read that?
Do it. We would like to hear it.
Yeah? Okay, fine. I'll do it. Only because it's just you people that I know and trust.
Ignore the camera.
Well. Okay. Let me find it. Sorry, I've been writing really long poems recently. Okay. Okay, so this is called To My Future President. Every seam is oozing with bigotry in his campaign, yet I don't know if I'll sleep soundly tonight regardless of who wins. As much as I stand by democracy, I cannot stand by someone who cannot condone the acts of mass murder in a country whose women and children have been and are dying. But I cannot live in this country knowing that my rights as a woman may be taken away from me and the other woman in my life, that mass deportation may become commonplace, that efforts to heal our environment will take the back burner to tax cuts for the 1%. I cannot live in this country knowing that this can be accepted. So this is for those arguing that the lesser of two evils concept should not be upheld in this election. All I can do is vote for the lesser of two evils in every election, because what else is an election but voting for the lesser of two evils? When has it ever been anything but voting for the lesser of two evils? I cannot think of a time when it was different. As hard as I try, I cannot think of a time when this was different. And so I say to my future president, please leave our country in a state where we can at least attempt to create life amidst the burning rubble of our democracy. Please do not incite violence or fear. Use the figureheads and language of contemporary culture to gain some sense of relatability, because nobody in this country can relate to you. I promise that none of us can relate to the power you hold. All you have left us with is the power to watch as our world implodes. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't find a better ending. Thanks. I really appreciate you guys being willing to hear that, because, yeah, like I said, it's out of my comfort zone to write or read something like that. But I think it's how I feel, so I have to stand by it.
Make a comment?
Yeah.
Each of your poems is so unique, coming from such a different place, that the whole mix comes across as this, big, complex, interesting person.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Let's continue though, because this isn't all about me, right? So next up, I'm just gonna make it up, is Peter. Welcome to the stage, Peter.
Thank you, Robyn. I feel like that's a difficult act to follow. You made me think of an argument that I had with a friend the other day. The subject was probably how I interrupted him,
or didn't let him talk. But another subject of it was that he had taken offense to a Facebook post made by one of our mutual friends on what you were talking about, Palestine. And our friend in this Facebook post had used the term genocide. And so then I'm talking to my friend, and he's like, I didn't like that he used the word genocide in his Facebook post. And I was like, huh? And it's like easy for me to say, huh? Because that's popular right now. But I don't know. I don't have a problem with that word. For my friend, he has a problem with the word. And yeah, so he's been texting with me back and forth about when he can talk to me about this, and it's interesting. Election night as well. That was an interesting conversation in the beginning with to talk or not to talk. And another thing you reminded me of, Robyn, was I think it was like 2015. There was this Southern kid, probably late teenager, early 20s, and he did violence in like a black community. And I remember wanting to write a poem about it, and it was so filled with moral outrage. And it's so interesting how like we direct that. And the way we direct it, it makes me think of all of the influences that kid, who's a murderer kind of fella, what were the influences on him, So that brings me to what we were questioning before, like talk about politics or not. It's interesting, right? It's like, how do we speak about something? Because you can say, or we can all say, oh, I'm neutral, but at the same time, neutrality is political as well. There's no escaping a relation. It makes me think of rendering to Caesar what's Caesar's and rendering to God what is God's. Like a conversation we were having earlier today about Emerson. And he talks about all poetry having been formed before we were here. And when we're finally attuned, we can receive and transmit. But I think ever anon, we're sort of corrupting the golden text. Another thing we were talking about that came up was Uncle Ezra. So Charles Bukowski used to call Ezra Pound Uncle Ez. And so Ezra Pound, what he had to say was two things. The thought of what America would be like if the classics had a wide circulation. It troubles my sleep. So, I mean, that thought comes to me too, right? What would it be? If one of the influences of a person was the Odyssey instead of, his father's outright bigotry. And the other thing from Ezra Pound, and I tell this like to students sometimes in writing class, he has this nice quote. The technique of infamy is to create two lies and have either side argue over which lie is true. And I like that. Kind of reminds me of my human situation. Okay, which brings me through these intimations of Mr. Emerson and what's coming through one. I got a first stanza came through after a series of associated thoughts. And If I didn't come here today, I wouldn't have realized what the title of the poem is. Initially, it was called Spool of Sage, but now the provisional title is Ode to Liars, Spool of Sage. Living with a crazy woman in a thatched roof cabin, middle of Ulster County. Most of it is trees, month-to-month pay. Poison ivy on my knees, tobacco in the ground. Olive pits carpet the floor, her cat flattened by a truck. Sparrow on the windowsill, proselytizing cubism. Alacrity in an envelope, despite the dearth of rain. Geoengineer squeaked a fib, train whistle on the mountain range. Coyote howls the moon full, like the night desires dawn. Friend of mine in a prison cell talked the animal to death. Mom and dad bought a birthday cake. Grandma life plans a funeral. Nevermore is evermore in the land of fare thee well. Preordained the pace of chemic trails. Game of real estate a bust. Set a bow around an arrow. Watch the fleece complete. Ingenuity of a mantelpiece, devoid of human gain. Chain of beings, mollusk shells. Exogenous refrains. Put DNA in a syringe of yarn. Instars purport motions of clay. What else can a person do but make things be the way one wants? Maybe listen like an ostrich shivers in a bed of dune. On hospice call, she met a man plastered to his seat. Tobacco flames by the oxygen tank, sex offender on the wall. An ape-armed man with grisly teeth shadows the ghost of next year's lie, until the prayer to live a life exhausts the foil of misstep words. Maybe it's cute to carry mace in a purse lined with cheetah print. A bardo door to heaven's gate, marijuana on her lips. In the courtroom, excitement, the prospect of vengeful pay, his hair tied back in a neat bow, what the elders say can rot away. At the feast you were invited to partake in what remained. The spell of oft-spoke idioms drew rabbits out a hat. Like the time you said you'd never say the things you said you'd never do. I got confused, said hello, like a litany of whirlpool drools. Friends of a friend, where are they now? The aliens had games to play. Now a child is born, investments bloom, the thrill of having something to do. Living with a crazy woman in a thatched roof cabin, middle of Ulster County. Most of it is trees, month-to-month pay. I'm just a crazy woman, living in a couple zillion bodies, on the precipice of what feels good, to a wrapped with string spool of sage.
Thank you, Peter. I really loved that. I loved how it was jumping. It felt like I was barely touching the ground in that poem. And yeah, I love the circular nature of it too. Really, really well done. Yeah. And thank you for your quotes in the beginning. I love someone who can just recite quotes on the spot. That's like the coolest thing to me. I can't do it. I know like one poem by heart and it's like not even that cool. So yeah, thank you. And next up is Dagan. Welcome to the stage.
Okay, well, here we are at the end of the world, trying to put the pieces together, trying to salvage our civilization before it goes roiling into the ocean, along with all of our plans. And then what? Supposedly we live forever, but everything seems so temporal nowadays. Maybe it's time for a readjustment, or at least a reassessment. Or how about a reconfiguration? How about reconnaissance? Relevance. Yes, relevance. To what? What's that song? Trying to make it real compared to what? Well, what is the what? And I mean, apparently we are the who, and they are the other. It seems there's a backlog of intelligence trying to rear its ugly head before we get a chance to even understand why we're here in the first place. So maybe we should just kind of like, cut bait and hope for the best. I voted for the lesser of two evils, and I resent it. I know how the system works. I've been around the block. This is no different than any other year, any other election. What's different is us, and we are always growing. And despite appearances, things are changing. Or maybe another way to put that is, even though things seem to be changing and going out of control, they're still the same. Either way you look at it, it's like the caduceus, and it meets in the middle. And that's where we get to lay down our foundation and build our new world. So I guess that's what we're doing tonight, picking up the pieces and moving forward with grace, trepidation, imagination, wariness, a little bit of psychosis, a little bit of wounding, and the inspiration is never ending. It's always there. It always comes bubbling up if we just give ourselves a moment to feel it. I think election days are very sad days for me, because there's so much passion and it seems to be so misdirected. And when it's over, where does that passion go? And when the candidate finally makes it to wins the election, they're a completely different person than the person that we elected. And it just is always that way. So I'm beyond questioning the system. At this point, I am questioning reality, and with good results. So I'm going to keep going with that. My personal interest is in the absurd and what lives between the cracks, and what happens when you look at things upside down. Maybe it was all those psychedelics I took when I was younger, but I have a feeling it's a little deeper than that. But who knows? I certainly don't. But that's part of the joy of it. Is it's whimsical. It's farcical. It's spontaneous. It's theatrical. And more than anything, it's what's the word? I don't know. I guess that's a good thing. I'm getting more and more comfortable with my inner flow, And my goal is to let my wild, super over-the-top imaginative inner flow just come bubbling up. And I feel like I'm getting there. And the older I get, the more I take the pressure off. So I'm reflecting on this day. I find myself wanting to burrow in a deep cave somewhere while all this craziness goes on, and then come out tomorrow and rub my eyes and say, okay, what happened? I'm afraid nothing is happening. I think that's why I'm sad, because there's all this energy, all this money, all this time, all this effort. For what? For absolutely nothing. We're just perpetuating the same old tired horse. We're just beating this horse into the ground. So what's going to change things? I come from the 60s, and I saw real change real fast. So that's my bar. That's my bar. So I don't get depressed because I know a better world. I know for a fact a better world is possible because I've seen it. It only lasted for a little while, but it was long enough to see what happens when people cooperate, feel safe, get energy from each other, don't have to worry about money, and are open to being inspired. It's kind of amazing. What's that? And artists, yes. Marca. So the answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. And we're starting to see it. That's the cool thing. We're all becoming more, people are definitely more spiritual, more sensitive, more volatile, more in touch with their emotions than back in the day. I think that's just part of human evolution. So yeah, it's all good. I appreciate this stage. It's like there's a lot of depth and a lot of centering right here. And for all you hundreds of people out there, thank you for being so quiet and so patient. It feels like I'm just in a living room somewhere. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little number for you. So when you're confused and you're looking for some get up and go, and you're saying, what's the next step? Well, what does that mean? When you climb that mountain and you face all those fears and you buy that new fancy suit and you fall down in the mud and then you remember, oh yeah, I'm not related to any of this. What does that mean? When you run out of steam, when you build a bridge, when you stub your toe, when you forget your lines. What does that mean? Yeah, I'm digging for the truth. And I'm bored with the process. I'm gonna paint my room dark blue. I'm gonna take a handful of white paint and go, "Fwah." That's my way of defining reality. And what does that mean? And why do I care? Where am I coming from? Who am I? And why is it so darn important? Maybe it's time to open that door, finally. Maybe it's time to face that greatest of all fears. Nothingness. What do I do? One foot in front of the other. Shake it off and pray. What does that mean? I'm tired of figuring it out. I'm heading out of here. I'm getting me a job. I'm going for broke. You know what? I think it's time for a vacation. But I'm just going to sit there on the beach going, what does it all mean? Oh. I'm not pathetic. I'm confused. I'm not bold. I'm chancy. And I'm not weird. I'm unique. So, maybe I will get a job. Yeah. Maybe I'm just gonna bite the bullet. I was meant for this. I can see it now. My name in lights. All these people. And me not knowing what's going on. Walking around like an idiot. It's like a bad dream. I had a dream the other night that I couldn't stop the flow of events. And I woke up and said, who's in charge? And I said, what does it mean? So, bottom line, I don't know. And I'm proud to say so. So in the meantime, don't forget to vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dagan. I want to just become your character in its entirety. Yeah. And I think I'm getting there. So thanks for that. I mean, sure. If that was possible, we could do like a parent swap situation, Or was it Parent Trap? Freaky Friday, yes. We should Freaky Friday it. Except it's a Tuesday in the election, which brings us back to our point. Or does it? I don't know. See, I'm getting there. So next on our list is Jolly Joe Jester. Welcome to the stage.
Amazing. Oh. Yeah. We're going to figure it out. I'm here to tell you who's in charge, all right? I'm in charge. All right? Jolly Joe Jester is here to announce I will be running for president in 2028. Chair drop. That's right, folks. I'm here to announce my candidacy. And I know what it means to run for president, really. I've done this before. You're looking at the, I think, 3rd grade through, was it 10th, 11th grade class president. Okay, maybe I was VP in there a little bit. No applause necessary, class historian in senior year. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But by then I started, falling behind a little bit. Senioritis is real. But, what are we to make of all this? And why does somebody like me say, I'm going to run for president? I'm going to go up in front of the class and have my chance to say, oh, there's this kid. Let's see what he's got. And here's what I did. I'll give you a flashback. When I say vote, you say Joe. Vote.
Joe.
Vote.
Joe.
Vote.
Joe.
That's right, folks. You're going to vote for Joe because I said so. And that's how people raise to power right there. That, in a nutshell, is how it all goes down. And I think I really did it just because I wanted to get in front of everybody because I love attention, Who doesn't? As a kid who grows up on the dance floor of the weddings, doing his little cha-cha slide and having fun and being in the, playing with my friends and acting and creating and putting on a show for your parents. That's kind of what it starts as. And then it builds up and people put money into you. And who knows? Maybe one day I'll run for office. That's right. Even with this clip of me in my pajama pants out there, someday I could still do it. Now every single thing we do is captured and it's in my heart. And I really wanted to tell you guys my story because I don't usually get into what happened in my life and what goes on in that young boy's mind who comes out and goes in front of everybody and is making funny faces and says, oh, we're going to have free vending machines in the cafe, and you never fulfill your promises, right? You never get it done. But why? And what did I really want to say? So, a little background about me. I come from Elmira, New York, and it's kind of like a prison town. Let's be real. It's known for its prisons. A lot of my friends have grown up to be guards and to be walking through, and think about that. In America, land of the free, we have more people imprisoned than any other country in the world per capita. So it's kind of a moneymaker. And when I grew up in Elmira, I found ways. I was really lucky to have a mom who poured her love into me. Vicky Sue, she passed away in May of 2020, 4 years ago, And the whole world had changed. She died a day before George Floyd was murdered in front of the whole world. So we found this opportunity there of the world shifting. And what she always told me, was that in this life, everybody around you is a friend. Everybody who's coming into your world, make friends with them, and that people are inherently good. We all have a little bit of the Holy Spirit in us, Joseph. I'm telling you. So I went through with that mentality and was so excited to make friends growing up. So when I got to go run for president of the class, I was really, trying to make friends. That's really what it comes down to. But how do we make more than just friends? What could I have said when I was up there in front of the class? As a kid, I was very conscious of the whole class structure in America and in the world. And, people wearing certain brands and looking a certain way and having maybe not the most excitement about, which brand do you show on your outfit? What do you have? Today I'm wearing the I Voted brand. It's very in right now. It's very great. And I come from Elmira. It's home of Tommy Hilfiger, actually. He lived there. So style and fashion and dressing, I was the one kid walking around middle school with a briefcase. So I deserve to be class president right there. But what I wish I had said to them as the years went on, my mom, she ended up having a lot of back troubles. When I was a kid, she had over 10 surgeries in her back throughout time. She had like 9-inch nails in her spine. Trent Reznor sitting in there. He was in her spine. And she always was going through surgeries. It was getting intense. And then my parents split up, and she had to, as a disabled woman, live and have health care. That's not always easy. I'm sure in many countries, that's enough to knock somebody out right there. And I got so many years with my mom, and luckily, Obama came around and said, yes, we can give health care to people and take care of those who are in need. And I remember being in Elmira one night, having a political conversation with a friend who was like a school. I went to community college up there in Corning, and there was a guy who worked there and was in like the security realm. And we're talking about politics. We're talking about why do you support who you support. And after a long conversation, and I'm able to really hold it with people who don't believe the same things as me. Because of where I grew up, I think looking people eye to eye, hearing their perspectives, especially no matter who wins tonight and this week, we're going to have to do some healing. So I told this guy, I said, he's fought in the military. He's got a different background than I said, my mom wouldn't have been able to get the care that she needed if it wasn't for these kinds of democratic things that made her, available to get surgery, medicine, what she needed. And even up until when she passed away, there was health care. You can thank the world for that, little small things. But what I wanted to say is also that we were in low-income housing when my parents split up. So my mom, who was a big collector, let's just say she liked to collect magazines, a little knickknacks, bric-a-brac, you name it. So when she had to move and put all that into a small low-income housing right next to the high school, that was a little hard for me. And I remember having shame at the time. I wish I got up in front of my classmates and said, hello, I am just here to tell you all that you may have known me when I grew up on this part of town. Now I'm in the low-income housing right next to the school. Okay, I just so you know, when you're voting for president this year, that's where I came from today when I walked in. I still look good. I still had my style. I'm lucky. My mom is a fashionista, so maybe it didn't show. But I used to fantasize about going up in front of the whole school and saying, why are we letting our economic backgrounds separate us? Why are we don't need school uniforms to make it appear that everybody is the same background. Why don't we love each other like brothers and sisters and have parties and get together as a whole class? And it really disturbed me that it didn't want to work. And of course, the school's budget goes under and they all combine all the schools in my senior year, a whole new school. And I had my few friends that I really love, but I wanted to be everybody's friend. I wanted to throw the little Elmira Woodstock parties. I wanted to have everybody come over and say, let's have fun, let's eat pie and watch a movie and blare music and throw a party like this town has never seen. And it didn't happen. But now I'm here today catching up where I left off, okay? Telling you few fine folks who are here, come and clean. That this background, Jolly Joe Jester is here. Maybe in his life he's benefited from social services that this country has offered. There's so many amazing people who are getting food stamps, who are getting health care, who are getting lived home assistance where they live. And, that is better. I'd rather be paying for that with my taxes than dropping bombs anywhere. And that's the key. Kamala, I love her, all right? I've been saying Mamala, but I'm realizing I got to get that in check. Maybe she's step-mamala, okay? Maybe she's my step-mamala. I got a great mom already. But maybe we're supposed to say, step-mamala, listen, we like you. We want to get on that close level, but you got to help us out. You got to give peace a chance. You got to come together and make us all feel like we have a nurturer taking care of our country at the bottom line. And guess what? I've always thought that we needed a woman president. It's about damn time. My mom would ask me, Joe, when is my back going to heal? You seem to know and have close contact with God. Tell us, what does God say about my back? And I would say, she says she doesn't know yet. It's not time. It's going to be a while. And she would tell me, you always said God was a she. And honestly, why do we think of God as looking like somebody like me who's gone gray and lost some weight? The old man. And that's not God. Come on. We know God is Mother Nature. This universe has got both the feminine, the masculine together. The mamala, the walls through the park. Come on, just please, God, help us. Please. We're all praying here, and this is our church. And I just hope that other guy can just say goodbye to us for a while. And you know what? I'm hoping that I will run for president in 2028. So stay tuned to Jolly Joe Jester. Yeah, it's really all going to come around. I know it. And I feel like people today I got a good feeling in the air. I don't know. Don't want to speak too soon. But when I walked around, I went on my little daily walk. I think in another life I was like a golden retriever. I love a good walk, and I always bring home a huge stick and put it in a pile, and it makes me feel so good. It's my little positive reinforcement. I put the huge stick in a pile, and then when the burn ban is over, I'll have a good fire. You're all invited. I'm going to invite my whole high school class. We're coming on 10 years anniversary, and I'm going to show up to the anniversary in this outfit and say, yeah, class of 2015, Jolly Joe fucking Jester's back. Yeah, and I love you all, and I'm having a party tonight in the field, okay? We can do it. We can make this world a party, a ride, an ocean of love. But it starts here, and it starts in our minds. And truly, I'm sending out good vibes to each and every person. The prison guards, the working moms, the people who are, feeling lost and feeling like they need some sort of a big boss to take care of things, and they don't have it within them. I think what we said tonight, it's all about each other. I like to think of it as like we're voting for who's going to lead the island. Remember that book, The Lord of the Flies? Of course, it's all boys land on the stranded island. And they're trying to think, what's going to happen? And it is a sad reflection of humanity that the boys just can't hold it together. It's dystopia. One of them is all kind of hard and has got the charm, and he's a little tough, and you're sticking with me. And then there's the choir boys and Piggy with his little glasses. And it doesn't end so well for Miss Piggy. And the whole thing, it's like, what would have happened if we would have had one woman come on the boat, like, to lead the shit? Like, the guys would have probably held it together if there was one feminine teacher who's like, just stay calm, and gave him that look. Don't mess with me. I'm speaking. Okay? That's what we need. It's time. So I'm blowing the conch shell. Jolly Joe. Thank you all. Margaret Thatcher was a woman.
Thanks, Jolly Joe Jester. If anything, you are very jolly, and I really feel like we needed that. And I'm so thankful for all of you. I love how we could go from my reading to this. I think it's great that, everyone just feels these things in their own way and expresses them in their own way, and that's really what this is all about to me. And yeah, I'd say if anything, I would love a woman president. That is the most exciting thing to me about this entire ordeal, is that there could be a woman in office. I think that alone is why I'm like, okay, Robyn, you'll get through this. Because I think maybe Hillary said this during her campaign, but she said that having a woman become president is like breaking through like a glass ceiling that doesn't want to break or something like that. But I think, I mean, I'm praying it'll happen. Yeah, so let's just go to our next act. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you. My Bernie shirt, yeah. I was just wearing a plain black sweatshirt, and then I was like, no, I don't want to look like too much in mourning. But I wanted to be comfy, and then I remembered that I had this. And this is the vibe right now. This is totally the vibe. Yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to play until like a half hour before I left my house. And I almost didn't even, I was just going to come and watch. I wasn't sure if I wanted to play anything. Wasn't sure if I was in the mood. But this one popped into my head. And I didn't really get a chance to go over it, so I'll see if I remember how to play it. It's by a really wonderful songwriter, Rodrigo Amarante. It's called The Ribbon. Ribbon is cut. Now cameras are gone. The news are all won. The party goes on. Done, it's been said. And up goes the flag. An ox has been killed. In display the head. Then he came to me, born with a heart. He poured me the one, fixed me up straight. Son, he said, I knew you would. Hell can only do you good. You'll be where you should. So I kissed the ring. I miss the hand. Ask who you must. Faith it is trust, and justice be made. For numbers we pray. A woman made blind, with angels at guard, servants of lords, with a scale and a sword. She's looking at me. She sees through the night, a hit and run, no one in sight. said you ought to know. Classifieds will never show what the aces do. And the Queen of Hearts, I know. Thank you. Okay, and then, so I've kind of picked that one, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just do one song. And then on the way here, a Lucinda Williams song came on the radio, and it reminded me of another song of hers that I really like. I gotta find it in here. Okay. You weren't born to be abandoned. You weren't born to be forsaken. You were born to be loved. You were born to be loved. You weren't born to be mistreated, and you weren't born to be misguided. You were born to be loved. You were born to be loved. You weren't born to be a slave. You weren't born to be disgraced. You were born to be loved. You were born to be loved. You weren't born to be abused. You weren't born to lose. You weren't born to be loved. You were born to be loved. Thank you. Lucinda Williams. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Angela. I'm so glad that you were the last one up here, unless someone else wants to perform. I don't know if you guys are looking to. Okay. Just thought I'd ask. Well, in that case, I'm going to stand by what I said, and I'm so glad that Angela was the last one up here. I think, definitely feel the mood. But yeah, we all do deserve to be loved, and I think that's a great way and a great sentiment to end this on. This has been fantastic, and just so grateful for this space, as always, and for all of you coming and trusting me and each other. Yeah, this is something that is not going to change no matter who is in office tomorrow. So that's kind of reassuring when you think of it. Well, yeah, David will figure out a way. I assure you guys. Yeah, and give a round of applause for David. Yeah, really, the backbone of this whole thing. Next one is the 17th. Yeah. Well, a very strong hamstring.
Tell us how we can see the video.
Yeah, the video, the recording is on the Greenkill, will be on the Greenkill Sessions YouTube page. David edits it and makes us look even more beautiful than we already are. Yeah, and if you guys are interested, you can follow on our Instagram or Facebook page is White Noise, and Instagram is White Noise GK. I just got some followers in Scotland, which is pretty cool when I perform there. So love having an international audience at White Noise in cozy little Kingston. Yeah, that's really it. Couldn't have thunk of a better way to spend my election night, for real. Yeah, thank you guys again, and have a great rest of your night. White Noise signing off.